Just excited about what's been accomplished over the last 4 years. I think it's been a tremendous feat. It puts you in the same conversation with the Mike Smiths and the Bill D's. And it just means a lot for our football program and our community. I talk about that every single year. This is a senior class that's not finished the season without playing in the state championship, and I think that's a tremendous honor, and I think it's a tremendous accomplishment for our football team and our football program. I got a list of thank yous and things of that nature that I'll probably get out at some point while we're talking, but I'm just grateful for these young men that are sitting behind you. I invited all the seniors to come in because they don't get another opportunity like this, and I thought it was very, very special for them to hear, you know, your questions and what the 4 guys that are up here think about the program. But most importantly, I'm just excited for them. That this is all about them at this point in time. You know, it's just tremendous. I'm kind of, for once, at a loss for words, to be honest with you, because you know, you think about things like this. You hope you get opportunities like this. The pit of my stomach was rumbling all morning, not knowing what the outcome would be. But like a lot of the coaches have said on my coaching staff, like we have a bunch of guys that just don't quit. So with that being said, you know, I probably shouldn't have felt the way that I felt, but I did because I'm a human being, and it just speaks volumes to what these guys have done because of their effort, the time that they put in, the early morning workouts, the sleepless nights, the late text from Coach Johnson. Whatever the situation is, they bought into everything. They've done everything I've asked them to do and everything that the coaches have asked them to do. And because of it, they're victorious and probably the best football team ever to play at Highland Springs. Maybe not necessarily the best talent top to bottom. I've always heard that there's been some pretty good teams. We got some of those players that played on those teams that are on our coaching staff, but as a collective group, this is by far the best team I've been associated with as a coach or a player, and by far, you know, the best football team in Highland Springs without question.
Questions? Loren, I mean, teams don't have the kind of expectations that Highland Springs had this year. I don't know that anyone's ever expected a team to win a state championship at the beginning of the year, but people expected Highland Springs to do this back in August. What was it like, and really for any of you guys, what was it like dealing with that kind of expectation from yourselves and from the inside?
Buying in, just putting the same amount that we buy in back in 2015, going in, buying in, same amount now, because it's really the same recipe, it's just the execution of it.
I think, I mean, I don't know if we put pressure on ourselves at any point to win a state championship. I think the number one thing we said throughout the entire season was, 1, stay focused on the task at hand, and number 2, don't take anything for granted. Like you cannot take the mere fact that you're a talented football team with a bunch of guys returning for granted, because everybody wants to beat you. More so now than probably last year. Like everybody's gonna want to beat us again, but there's another group, different group of young men that are gonna step up and be here, and the same expectation will be on them, just to go out, have fun, execute, be the best football player you can be, and then grow into the best man that you can be.
Let's talk about some of the discipline and preparation it takes to win 4 straight championships in a row, because honestly, the last 4 years, it's looked like Madden out there. It really has. So I mean, is it as easy as it looks? And this is for anyone. I mean, is it as easy as it looks?
No, sir. It's not, winning the game is not done on game day. It's done days prior. Film room, weight room, conditioning, all that. It's just what we put into this week was something that we put in way more than the last 14 weeks. So it's just a lot of preparation to it.
Well, you said this was the best team that involved with the player and the coach.
Yes.
Involved with the teams. What makes this team so different, so special?
So I've said it numerous times. This group of seniors is off the wall silly, right? I've tried to say it many different ways, but they drive me crazy asking them to stop laughing, stop joking, stop talking. I fussed at them getting off the bus last night, said a few choice words to Kayla Morris as he was getting off the bus last night, said something to Tremayne Talbert last night. They would drive you bonkers. But in the same token, in the same breath, the way they drive you crazy is the way they prepare for games. right? So Coach Robbie does something in our weight room that's very, very unique. We do a little sudden change thing. And if you ever get an opportunity to see it with your own eyes, it is a madhouse, right, for about 15 seconds. And then they go from being absolutely crazy, bouncing off the walls, to back to lifting weights in about a span of 30 seconds. And they've done that throughout the entire year. You know, you get beat for a long pass, but then you come to the sideline and the offensive guy saying, don't worry about it, we'll come back and we'll score, right? So it's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde within the football team. Like, everybody's personality has meshed well together, and there's really no issues. Like, we hadn't had any issues this year whatsoever. They challenge each other, they compete, they fight. You know, when things don't go our way, like, nobody's hanging their head, and we just feed off each other. And that's kind of been growing as a culture in our program, you know, for years now, but it's been accentuated with this group that no matter what we do and how we do it, like we're going to continue to move forward and forget about what happened on the last play, the last drive, the last game, and just drive on.
Devontae, did you notice that they were calling your name wrong the whole game on the field? Did that even register with you?
Mr. Walker?
I didn't really pay attention to it. I just played my game, did my job, executed what Coach J asked me to do, just played my game.
Devontae, how many passes do you think he's thrown over the years to be as active as you are on deep balls, putting balls on slants in spots where only your guy can get it? What does it take to get that type of execution?
I think it's pretty much like after practice, like as soon as practice over, I just get the receivers, stay back, spend the time with them, make sure I know who I'm throwing to, know how fast they is, how much pressure I need to put the ball, how much heat I need to put on the ball, things like that. So when it comes down to game time, it's like, it's just regular, like it's just normal to just throw a slant, a dig, a fade ball, because I just know who I'm throwing to. I'm seeing them in the huddle, make sure I know who coming in and out the game, things like that. So it's just pretty much normal.
They also play a game when practice is over. They try to get me to stop conditioning if they hit the crossbar on the goalpost. It's only a couple people that hit the crossbar. Like the pinpoint precision comes from a multitude of people on the team. Like they don't all get to play quarterback, but there's a couple guys sitting behind you, and there's probably one or two at the table that they play this game and they do a pretty good job at it. We never stop conditioning though. Very good. He's probably the best of all those.
For any of you guys, Coach Johnson was talking about sending texts to players and they got shot crazy. Have you received texts from him yourself, and you got him crazy? Does he got you crazy?
Tell the truth.
Yes. Hey, we singers. Yes. Hey, but over the 4 years, I mean, Coach Johnson has always pushed us to our limit, always pushed us to the max. So just him doing that from February to August, it really lightens it down from September to December. So it's really all about that off-season preparation that he gives us.
Teammate, this time last year, you were hurt. How were you able to overcome your injury and come back and play on the high level that you were able to play this season? You did a remarkable job.
Well, I worked hard to get back to where I used to be after my injury, so then I just never thought about the pain went away, so I just came out and played football.
What did that feel like last year when the team won and you weren't on the field?
It was 2 years in a row, because temporary year, I was in 10th grade, so I had people above me, so I ain't play that state champion. Then I came back and got hurt, couldn't play that one. So then I had to come out here today and put my all into it.
You better receiver or DB?
Coach, you and Christian, some X's and O's from today. Josh Brees goes for over 200 yards on this field against you 2 years ago. Not even close as a team today for Stonebridge. How'd you guys prepare for the running game?
like I said, just beginning of the week, that straight film study. Looking at their tendencies, looking at how they line up, how we're going to line up to them. We already did the physical preparation for it. It's all mental, playing against a team like that.
Coach, Christian seemed like the leader because time after time in the first half, if you stop him a yard gain, he's coming off the side. He's the first one getting contact if he's not making the tackle. Was that kind of part of the game plan, that he would lead the charge that way?
So you want to ask me about any defensive game plan? Like, I got to defer to Coach Simmons, right? I mean, the game plan is to put all of the players that can play on the field. Now, we made a couple adjustments that we felt like would be better for us, but it's Coach Simmons gets the opportunity to go home, like watch the film, decipher it, and disseminate it amongst all of the coaches and the players and get them prepared defensively. Now, I kind of mentioned a couple times that they had 70 carries for 400 yards last time we played, right? And I know he's a competitor, so, you know, with that just being said in itself, I knew Coach Simmons wasn't going to allow that to happen. And we weren't going to allow the kids to go out and put us in a situation where our backs were going to be against the wall defensively. Our defense has just done a tremendous job the entire season. And you know, you're playing the caliber of teams that we played the last 2 weeks, they're going to put up some points. But if you go back to the first 13 of them, I mean, our defense played lights out against everybody they played. And I'm not sure how many shutouts they had, but they had a lot. And I'm not sure how many times we had, you know, teams under 100 yards, but I'm pretty sure it was a lot. And that's a testament to, you know, the seatbelt game on the back end. That's a testament to the linebackers that rotate in and out. That's a testament to the defensive linemen. You know, the guys that get on the field and just play tremendous football all the time. So just as much time as we put into our offense, we put into our defense and our special teams. So, you know, Zane kicking off, putting guys in, you know, tough situations, having to drive the ball the length of the field. You know, coming back, they kind of scared us a little bit by returning one. But, you know, hey, Zane, can we put it on the ground? Hey, Coach, I'll put it on the ground. And then he hit somebody with it and got the ball back for us. So he's done a tremendous job. Everybody that plays in the secondary did a tremendous job, but it all starts with Coach Simmons and the defensive coaches.
Coach, the target on your back just got bigger after today. You guys are going for number 5 next year. You guys are the Crimson Tide of Virginia High School League football right now. Little known fact, I guess, is a lot of people don't know that your JV team also went undefeated this year. You know, scored 90, 80 points even in some games. Talk a little bit about, you know, prepping for next year, what you guys are going to do, you know, moving forward from here and trying to get back to the same level next year.
So you want me to be detailed, or you want to or just like a?
How much time do we have?
Generality. All right. So I can tell you this: when we get on that bus, the depth chart will start. All right. As soon as we get on the bus, like, these guys are gone. You understand where I'm coming from? And then the time doesn't get limited with them. The time just increases with the guys that are back in the locker room right now and the guys that are home. So, you know, preparation starts immediately. Like, when we come back from Martin Luther King Day, like, the weight room opens up full force. Like, these guys are welcome to be in there, but the emphasis will be put on the guys that are returning. And as many days as we have in the weight room is how many days we have out of the weight room. So we'll be in the weight room tough, you know, 2 days a week. From now until March cranks up to 3 or 4 days a week. And in that 3 or 4 days a week, you know, I'll start getting with guys that need to understand the scheme and understand what's going on. And then we'll get back on the 7-on-7 circuit, you know, in May, April. And we'll start going to camps and junior days and all of those things in May, June, July. And we'll be ready to go in August. And we got some tough opponents next year, so we know we have to be prepared in every aspect. Some of these guys would like to play the opponents that we're playing next year, but they can talk to the guys that are playing and make sure those guys are prepared. So that's kind of the family and tradition that we're starting, or that we have in place. So we'll just be ready to go. I can be more detailed. There's a calendar already ready. I can tell you that already. So we're ready to go. Yes.
You said you didn't convey the expectations of your team that you were playing for a state title. That you take it day by day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at these scores here. Was there a point in your mind where you just went, okay, we're gonna be all right? Maybe I just won't tell them.
No. Never feel that way, because then I think that's taking it for granted, right? So last week was the worst week for me ever. All right, and kudos to Maury. You know what I'm saying? Like we're talking about Maury in this situation. My head was hurting. I was sick. I mean, you got the pit of my stomach. I mean, because there's some talented athletes over there. But when the game started, it was a wrap. Like my whole mindset changed, and I was in a different place. Just like today. I mean, you know, a team runs the ball. The last time you played them, 70 times for 400 yards. And we had to win the ball game on the last drive of the game. So, like, you know the capability of these football programs. But, like, I know the capability of our football team, too. And I think that's the key, right? So I'm very confident in their play, in their preparation, how they take this thing, how they move forward. And their job, all the teams in the room, is to make sure that the juniors, the sophomores, and the freshmen, like the 8th graders that are coming up, they understand, like, what their expectations are without us even saying it. Like, there's, you know, we got a coach's son on the team right now, but like my son will be on the team next year. So they have to relay that message because I'm dad at the house, right? So they got to relay the message to what coach is on the field. Because if he doesn't get it, like I don't care whose son he is, like he won't play. And that's just facts. They know that. Doesn't matter what your last name is. No. He's gotta find out from them. If not, he'll never step a foot on the field without place.
For any of you guys, how long will you remember your careers in Highland Springs, and how long will you remember Coach Johnson and Westwood games and playing for him?
For the rest of our life. Because everybody that come back from college say, man, I wish I was still playing high school.
And the thing about it, Coach Johnson is more than a coach. Yeah. Coach Johnson is a life teacher. So if you can't take what he taught us from football and transition it to life, you're getting the wrong message from Coach Johnson. It's more than football.
AJ, talk a little bit about your progression this season. 5 receptions today, 93 yards, 1 touchdown. You've kind of flown under the radar a little bit. We talk about Ali a lot. We talk about Javion a lot. Just talk about your progression this season as a player.
It was tough first coming here because there was a lot of competition in front of me. So, I mean, I just had to make big plays, and every opportunity that I got on the field, I just felt like I had to make the best of my opportunity. And once I did that, I gained a starting position. And after that, I just wanted to help the guys younger than me to make them better. So it was more of like, I mean, I know what I had to do, and I know what I did. So.
AJ caught on quick. He wasn't over there at first. So when he came over here, we all outside. We just running routes, checking each other. He like, AJ, what you doing? Ain't gonna work. So then we started giving them some tips, telling them what we do over here and not at Tucker. So he caught on and took advantage of it.
Yeah, it's a lot of competition at practice, so it makes me better every day. And it makes our DBs better every day. So us going at that practice every day makes you a better player. So, I mean, that's where I get all my skills from them.
And it's bragging right. It's bragging right. So if you get burnt, you're going to hear it for the rest of the week. You got to check somebody. You got to burn somebody. Because if you don't, you're going to hear it for that whole practice, the next practice, and the one after.
You take everything to the heart at practice, man. Like, you got this drill that we go through, 2-minute drill. I feel like you're in a game. Like, everybody want it bad. Like, you want it bad.
Coach Johnson might argue with Coach Simmons.
Hey, it's team for team, it's 2-minute drill. It's team for team.
2-minute drill, we don't even know each other. It's all
it's team for team, man.
From a collegiate standpoint, what are we thinking? Are we thinking about that yet?
I'm undecided yet.
Just looking for a program that wants me just as much as I want to play football.
So, go ahead.
Just want a program that make me just feel home. Going from a winning program, kind of feel like losing. It's a lot of work I feel like I'm going to have to do to help the team, to help get the winning program, build a winning program. Undecided.
Paul, you got questions?
Yeah, I had, AJ, when you're running your routes and if you get a step on a guy, how confident do you feel the ball's going to arrive from Devontae?
I'm very confident. Like he said, after practice, he knows his receivers. So with me, he knows he can put it up there and I can get it. But coming out of his hand, I feel very confident. I know it's going to be there. I know it's going to be on point. It's my job to catch the ball.
Once they know if we open, we don't throw it.
Anything else? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Best team